And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Gaming Perspective, episode 34. I'm sick as hell, so I'm going to be coughing intermittently and dying while everyone else talks about our topics tonight. So we'll do some quick introductions. Oh, and our guest just popped in.
Hey, there's Mr. Anchorman. Welcome. We just started up, bud.
All right. So, introducing from the Inner Circle Games Network, the Lord Editor, Mr. Samuel Tolbert.
My titles keep on changing, geez. Hey guys, how's it going? Hope everyone's been doing well. We have a good amount of stuff to talk about that we're going to try and get through really quickly to get to our main discussion point tonight.
And join us also from the Inner Circle Games Network, Jared.
How's it going, everybody? Let's get talking. We have, like Sam said, we got a whole bunch to talk about, so let's just get going.
And joining us again, I think I've had him on before. Joining us, of course, is Anchorman V2 from the Multiverse Show.
Hey, tonight.
What's going on?
Not too much. Been busy playing some games. Ready to do this podcast.
Right on. Woo! Saw you were playing Fallout 76 again, sir. How was that?
Of course. So it's always been a good, enjoyable time. Fallout 76 is a interesting game at this point because now everyone's kind of evolved past the player killing stage, where it's just like for the novelty of it. I mean, because player killing was hard enough as it is, but it's gotten past that point where people are just being constructive and people want to help. But like there is a healthy PvP community that is available to you, which is enjoyable.
Right on. Any new content on there? I haven't really been keeping track of Fallout 76, actually.
So far, they have done mostly quality of life improvements. My understanding is they kind of like everybody to get to 50, or what they could. It's not max level, but it's what they consider max level. I don't think there is a cap. But it's 50 is like, okay, that's the last of your character building traits you're going to be able to move with. They have not added too much just yet, but they have started teasing some vaults. Like I already found a couple vaults that are closed that are going to be opening up soon. So
cool.
Yeah, give me just a second.
Yep. All right, so we'll get briefly into what we've been playing this week. We'll start with Sam. Sam, what have you been playing?
I've really just been playing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So I've been playing a free-to-play game called Switchblade, and I have a review coming out in the next couple of days. It was developed primarily by Lucid Games, though Wushu Studios is doing some support work on it now. And it's a car MOBA. It is a MOBA where you play in these like assault vehicles, like cars with rocket launchers strapped to them, or one might have a gravity beam or healing rays or stuff like that. And it's actually a decent amount of fun. It's on PC and PlayStation 4, and it has some issues. Don't get me wrong, it has some issues, but overall, considering that it's free, you earn money at a reasonable rate. I mean, just like any other MOBA, you're just earning to buy the skins or the different cars. If you didn't purchase a car pack or something like that, you can unlock the different car champions as you go along. It's actually a decent amount of fun. So I've been playing that. I've been playing Overwatch. I've been dabbling with Resident Evil 2's hardcore mode. I'll be honest, I haven't gotten as far into that as I would have liked. I've only played like an hour or so in that, but it's extremely difficult. One zombie chomp is now enough to take you directly down to red health. It's crazy. And beyond that, not really much else.
Right on. Yeah, I've been meaning to try it Switchblade. I've got it installed on my computer. Been meaning to try it because I love MOBAs and I like cars, so it feels like a crossover made in heaven.
Yeah, you do play like the crap out of Smite, not gonna lie. Dude, play a lot of like.
Dude, I've got like 110 days in that
game.
Damn, insane. That's utterly insane.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure in 2016 when I started playing, that was the only game I played on Xbox. So.
Jared, I can vouch for that. You were only playing Smite back in 2016.
Yeah, that's all I played. I couldn't afford other games, so free-to-play games were my go-to. Jared, what have you been playing?
Well, it's always an expanse of games. I never really pick and focus on one until I guess recently last night. I guess the most standout game for me has been the Division 2 closed beta this weekend, and it's been nice to see how Ubisoft took a game that was pretty good, but needed some fixing and tuning up. And in the sequel, they addressed basically all the issues that we had in the first one, because I'm honestly a huge fan of the first Division game, and I had also a lot of issues because I played the crap out of it until the end game content, and then I stopped because there's nothing to keep me going. With the Division 2, from what I've read and what I've seen, they've definitely addressed that, and from what I've played currently in the beta, they've really kind of almost overloaded it for a beta as well, for the amount of content that you can do and for what they have shown. Because to me, for what I've seen, the Division 2 is going to have a crap load of content, and the entire focus has been on the end game, and I haven't even touched that yet because they have a little bit of a teaser in the beta itself for the end game. So once I hit that and I experience everything, between Anthem and the Division 2, I don't know how I'm going to have time to play both these games at the same time, because there's just so much to do in both of them, especially Division 2. I'm really impressed with what they've done, and I'm really excited to get my hands on it when launch day comes.
How am I going to have time for all this trash?
I don't know, man. Excuse me? Excuse me? Trash? Oh, man. You ain't going to have words, because next topic, we're going to be talking about Baldur's Gate soon. So you want to be talking about trash?
Oh, true garbage.
There we go.
True garbage.
Thank you.
Xbox is truly scraping the bottom of the barrel, putting Baldur's Gate.
Disgusting.
Oh,
disgusting.
No exclusives, period.
Xbox got no games, man.
I can't even with you guys right now. Who invited this man?
I believe Mr. Chief did.
There you go. Actually, yeah, it's true. He did instigate it, not gonna lie.
Shout out to Mr. Chief, who's always in the live chat. Someone's knocking. Okay, we can't say what Ivan's playing because someone knocked on his door. So what I've been playing, I can't even talk about it. This sucks. I've been playing some things. Redacted. But in my free time, I've been dabbling in Apex Legends, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, and been having a lot of fun with it. I like Battle Royale games. I really like this one. It's really impressive that Respawn made a free-to-play game that is more polished than Blackout and more balanced than Blackout and just better than any other Battle Royale game on the market, because it doesn't have building in it. So I'm not getting outbuilded by a 9-year-old on Red Bull.
No, dude, it's what I... Oh, man. See, the thing is, these Battle Royale games is that it has what I call a bullshit factor, where what will happen is you'll play the game and there will be something that is just so frustrating that just makes you hate the game. Like in PUBG, it was the glitches. And all of a sudden, you always go like, man, this is BS. I died because of blank. Oh, I got stuck in the car. Oh, I hit this. Like, that was the BS factor. In Fortnite, it's the building. And that is integral to the game, so you can't stop it.
Yep.
And so it's going to have that BS factor. But Apex Legends doesn't have that BS factor. Where it's the gameplay is solid. It's enjoyable. And like, I can't point at any one thing and say, man, this is total BS. Why can't I do this? I can't find anything like that.
No, and I think what amazes me so much is I don't think we've seen a multiplayer game. Like, it's had a little bit of server issues and everything else, but I've never seen an online game launch this smooth in eons, especially free to play. Like, it's just really impressive what they've managed to do with it. But we'll talk about that later. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the one thing that only I care about on this podcast. I'm the only person with taste.
Garbage man.
Trash taste.
Sir.
Sir, there's two of us here.
Gentlemen.
I will. I'll defer to our
Esteemed
Xbox
colleagues.
party where Rage was like, "I'm gonna buy Destiny 3 even if it's garbage."
I
heard
will
that too.
hold
I
true
can
to that.
vouch he said that.
I will hold true to it. I will not back down.
I mean, like, you're buying Anthem at launch, so I believe you.
Damn right. Legion of Dawn edition, baby. Let's go.
Skybound Games, which hit the news earlier or later last year, because they were the team that picked up the Walking Dead franchise and are going to finish it off. Kind of unknown. They kind of were like a small indie developer and everything else, and they did some like small publishing on the side. Not a huge catalog. But now they announced a few days ago that Skybound Games is teaming up with Beamdog, which owns the original IPs of some of the classic role-playing games. They're going to be bringing Baldur's Gate 2, Baldur's Gate Siege of Dragonspear, Icewind Dale, Planescape Torment, and Neverwinter Nights to an entertainment console near you very soon. So I imagine what that means is it's going to be on Xbox One, PS4, and this game is basically, I hate saying this because it's like every trailer comment section ever, but it's like perfect for Switch.
Hey, some games are just kind of, you see it and you go, honestly, it would just fit the Switch quite perfectly. It really would. Like Diablo 3, that's a perfect fit.
I think that the Switch will benefit from a lot of RTS strategy games and things like that. I think it's really well made for that handheld portability. So, but it's really cool that these games are coming to console because there was console versions of Baldur's Gate, but they weren't very good. They were more hack and slash and actiony than the other games.
Right.
So it's really cool that people on console will get to experience this like almost 20 years later. But it's really cool. I'll buy it day one, obviously. But it's really cool to see these old games coming across to Xbox. I'd love to see more old games come across. Like, I'd love to see Sid Meier's Pirates be playable again on console. Actually, I think that's part of OG backwards compatibility. Is it?
I don't think it is.
No
it might
idea,
be.
honestly.
I'm sorry, I love that game as a kid too. That's why Sea of Thieves will never be my king. That's Sid Meier's Pirates was.
Sir.
Oh no. I forgot we have Captain Anchorbeard in here.
That's Lord Commander Anchorbeard to you.
Oh
you
my
scurvy mate scum.
All right. We're gonna move right along here.
Please do. By all means.
By all means, moving on. So, in a surprise move, EA and Respawn teased last weekend, and we're like, the rumor leaked out through an quote unquote insider. I believe it was the Quartering, but I'm not going to use him as a reference.
Quartering.
Yeah, we ain't talking about him.
The third inning.
Yeah. So basically, they teased on, I think it was the Saturday, that there was a Titanfall Battle Royale game coming out on Monday. And people were like, no, you can't just launch a game without marketing it. There's no way that it can be successful. And sure enough,
can.
Here we are. And within the first 72 hours, Apex Legends crossed 10 million players. And they breached 1 million concurrent players, which is actually faster than Fortnite.
Yeah, that's the insane number that... I mean, Fortnite took a while to get as big as it did, and then plateau. Fortnite took a while to become such a massive game that everybody knew. It's Apex Legends is hitting it just like that, and that's crazy.
Also keep in mind that Fortnite, when that came out, Fortnite came out like 6 months prior, and people didn't like it. People didn't care for it.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem they kept running into was when they did the Battle Royale mode, people thought it was just the same game. And they were like, no, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
But it took a little while for people to jump on board.
Yeah, it took a little while for people to realize, hey, wait a minute, this is actually different,
So it's really cool to see that they've managed to blow up the way it did, because I'm guilty of it as well. But the amount I'm gonna go on a tangent here. I was gonna do a video about this, but I'm too damn lazy and too damn sick. So when this Battle Royale was announced, people were like, "Oh, well, what about Titanfall 3? I wanted Titanfall 3." No, you didn't. You didn't buy it. If you bought it for $5 when it failed. All these people that bought it for $5, $3, $4, and whatnot are like, "Oh, I don't know why they went to a Battle Royale game." Okay, well, 1 million concurrent players, which I don't even think that Titanfall even ever had more than, I don't even know what the current player count was, but it was never that.
I think it was like 800,000 was the max I ever saw.
You're talking about the original Titanfall or Titanfall 2?
Well, the original Titanfall.
The original Titanfall got really close. I think Titanfall 2 never got anywhere near that.
And the thing is Respawn doing this, and everyone's like, "Well, the developers betrayed us." Look, they made the original Titanfall. People supported the hell out of that because it was one of the few good exclusive games early on into the Xbox One generation.
Yep.
It was a really, really good game. Mm-hmm. And it was really successful. But people went, "Man, I can't believe they didn't give us a story." So they gave you the same dope multiplayer that you had in the original Titanfall. They gave you probably one of the top 5 best FPS campaigns of this generation in Titanfall 2. And y'all didn't buy it, even though it went to all platforms after everyone was like, "Well, I don't want to buy an Xbox to play Titanfall." And I'm just sick of it because I hate how everyone gets outraged with something that they never gave a crap about before. And that's my biggest complaint, because if all these people, they're sitting there going, "Well, I can't believe we're not getting Titanfall 3. Yeah, we're not getting Titanfall 3 because you didn't buy Titanfall 2. And no, you don't count if you bought it for $5. You don't count. Because I can count
games.
I can count on one hand the amount of people I knew that bought Titanfall 2 day one. I'm pretty sure Anchorman was actually one of them.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Actually, you were the one that convinced me to buy it day one, too.
I think I convinced about half the people on Twitter to buy it.
Man, my old gaming group, not a couple, but probably about 3 or 4 years ago, I played extensively Destiny 1 with. They used to play a lot of competitive Titanfall in the first game, and they scored to the point where they were top 10, their team in the world for Titanfall, playing competitively. And they loved the game. And you know what? I watched a lot of their footage, the gameplay, and it was good. Like, the gameplay, the way that Respawn made that game, it felt like such a good FPS game in general. Something you don't get very often. And on top of it, you got these really kick-ass mechs. It's awesome. And we got Titanfall 2, and then people didn't support the crap out of it. And now we're not getting Titanfall 3. Well, actually, we might be getting Titanfall 3, but we ended up with Apex Legends. And
I will say, though, and Chief Tommy pointed out in the chat, Titanfall 2 fell victim of a crappy release window.
Yeah, it very much did.
It was released around Battlefield 1 within like 2 weeks. And then Call of Duty came out just after that or just before that. I can't remember if it was after Call of Duty or before Call of Duty. But either way, it got sandwiched between 2 of the biggest FPS games on console and PC.
Battlefield 1 was really good too. So it did really well.
Well, Battlefield 1 was the first Battlefield game that actually stole mindshare from Call of Duty. That was the first big game for Battlefield. So Battlefield blew up, but Titanfall 2 did not. And I will continuously put my tinfoil hat on that EA set Respawn up to fail so that they can buy them cheap. I will.
Well, that may be part of the reason, but the reason I always think that they did it was because they saw that Call of Duty was at its weakest, Infinite Warfare was coming out, and they saw that, okay, this isn't the strongest offering. People were very pissed off with it. But didn't they say it was like the most disliked trailer like they'd ever made for a video game? For like ever anybody.
It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous how much it got.
And you know what's sad is that the Infinite Warfare campaign was actually one of the best Call of Duty campaigns in recent years.
It was good. It was really good.
I enjoyed it. Ethan's my favorite character to this day.
Yeah.
I love robots, so.
But I'm also going to note, too, it's funny, we talk about EA's release schedules, and they decide to release this literally weeks before Anthem, which is probably the biggest IP they've taken a risk on in eons.
Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true.
They are marketing and trying to sell the hell out of this game.
Oh, yeah. It started weeks ago. Weeks ago. They're going full board.
And them just seems weird to me. They sit there and they put out financials that Battlefield 5 underperformed by 1 million copies. Battlefield's Battle Royale mode is supposed to come out in March. So we release a free-to-play Battle Royale game like less than a month before we're supposed to drop
Bad idea.
Battle Royale mode in a game that's underperforming. Like, you gotta wonder, like, who is smoking what at EA?
But you have to take into consideration that EA had no hand in making Apex Legends. That was entirely in Respawn's decision to do that. Now, I, as a big Battlefield fan, me personally, I think is a really stupid idea to launch Battlefield 5 without their Battle Royale, because I think should have been an integral factor into the overall game for Battlefield 5 when it should have launched. Now, whether they should have delayed the overall game, I don't know, but I think they should take a big break on Battlefield 5 and focus on the game overall. But especially, like you said, Nick, I do also agree that it's a bad idea to have both Battle Royale kind of games launching so close to each other, because which one's going to do better, Apex Legends or the Battlefield 5? Honestly, Apex Legends, because it's a free-to-play game. And it actually plays really well. It's really enjoyable. It's a good overall, really polished game. And it's blown up. I mean, it's 10 million unique players in 3 damn days. That's pretty impressive.
Well, and so there's something we have to take away here. The future of standalone Battle Royale games. Not Battle Royale games, like as a mode in a game. I'm not talking about that. But I'm saying standalone Battle Royale games. The future is free to play. That's just all there is to it. This shows that to me. Like, was Call of Duty Black Ops, was Black Ops 4 a big success partially because of Blackout mode? Sure. Yeah, PUBG pioneered this thing, and even if they've been behind the times in removing the jank and adding updates, contrary to what many people think, the game is still going strong. It still has a very strong player base, and they've sold how many copies? Yeah. Something absurd. So they're doing fine. But it's the free-to-play games that are actually moving this side of the industry forward, that are actually growing the pie, so to speak. Fortnite did it, and now it looks like it's going to be Apex Legends' turn. And so I think that's the interesting takeaway now is, how does this affect the multiplayer scene moving forward if Apex Legends has turned everything on its head and proven that you can do this kind of thing with absolutely zero warning? How does that change things for everybody else moving forward? I don't have the answers. I just think it's a question we should all be pondering.
It's interesting when you bring up oh, sorry, I'm dying here.
Well, die faster.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's always interesting to me whenever I hear people talk about, well, PUBG's dead because no one cares about it. And their average player count, this is just on Steam, in the last 30 days is 466,000 concurrently, and it peaked at over 1.1 million. And also keeping in mind, too, PlayerUnknown Battleground has amassed more than 400 million players across currently available platforms, and developer PUBG Corp announced today that the figure includes more than 50 million copies sold on PC and Xbox One. Which is absolutely nuts.
Right, and that's good. And that's good for them. But the point I was making is it's the free-to-play stuff that's moving things forward at this point. That's
you're not going to be able to sell a Battle Royale game anymore.
No, you can't. Exactly my point. Like, if a Battle Royale game is paid, it's part of a larger game.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only way it's ever going to sell. Like, anything that's standalone Battle Royale, it's got no chance.
we're going to talk more about Battle Royale closer to the end of the show. We're going to touch on Monster Hunter World because I have this game.
This is pandering to Sam. This is pandering. I demand a recount.
Me and 11.9 million others.
Bazinga.
So Monster Hunter World has sold worldwide 11 million copies in its first year, which makes it the most successful Capcom game of all time, which absolutely mind-blowing. Capcom's probably going, why did we keep this on handhelds for so long? So Monster Hunter World's a massive success for Capcom and still continues to grow massively. I don't think we won't see the sales numbers drop either, because I think with all these crossovers they're doing, such as the Witcher 3 event, which just started a few days ago. By the way, watching Geralt of Rivia fucking dance and do all the emotes is probably one of the most hilarious things I've ever experienced.
Yeah, that's true.
But Monster Hunter World's a behemoth. Resident Evil 2 Remake did 3 million in the same period that Resident Evil 7 sold, I think, like 2.5 million. Capcom's on a roll. And it's
They're doing good.
Because I can remember on Multiverse show like a year ago, talking with Anchor and Fame about how that Capcom would probably get scooped up by either Sony or Microsoft.
Oh, yeah.
It's so terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I believe I said Nintendo at the time. I believe so.
Yeah, you said Nintendo at the time, but it's great to see developers work hard and their hard work pay off. And that's the key takeaway from this for me is Capcom's kind of figured out what they're good at and what people want. People want Monster Hunter World to the scale that they delivered. People want Resident Evil to be good again. Nobody, just because Resident Evil 6 was the best-selling Resident Evil game does not mean it was a good goalpost to set. I don't know. I'm just really happy to see Capcom back in the game because, honestly, they developed some of the best franchises out there. And they even found success with Mega Man this year, I believe. I'm not a huge Mega Man fan, but someone will correct me if I'm wrong.
Mega Man did okay. Like it didn't light the world on fire, but it's doing good for them. The Mega Man remaster did well, and Mega Man 11 sold pretty darn good. So it's doing fine for them. But yeah, Resident Evil and Monster Hunter are the bread and butter right now. Absolutely. Monster Hunter, I meant to tell you this before we went live, it actually needed to be updated because it's now 12 million sold, not 11. Just like that.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know, right? 12 million sold. The DLC is taking a little longer on PC due to some development pipeline issues there, but they're doing exceedingly well. It's got a Witcher crossover, for crying out loud. Like, it's getting a full expansion later this year. Yeah, hop on board. I have no prior history with the series, and I love Monster Hunter World. It's great. And between that and Resident Evil, Capcom is on fire right now. It's fantastic.
Yeah, they're definitely not going to slow down anytime soon, I don't think.
Nope, not at all.
With plans for Resident Evil 8 and possibility of Resident Evil 3 remake. You thought Mr. X was annoying. Wait till you meet Nemesis. He's got rockets.
And you know what? I hope they keep going in that direction too, honestly, with a lot of the games.
The only one I hope they don't touch is Resident Evil 4. Because I am so sick of every damn device, the GameCube, having that game.
They already did that, dude. It's called Evil Within.
He's not wrong. Actually.
No, I know he's not wrong. And I think Evil Within 2, from the very little bit I've had the chance to play, it does a lot of things a lot better than Resident Evil.
Oh, it does. It's so
but
Evil Within 2 is the new Resident Evil 4. I agree. It's the modern Resident Evil 4. But regardless of that.
So this next topic is something that I know me and Anchor will be super hyped about. I'm pretty sure Sam's a huge fan as well. So Michael Condrey, if anyone's familiar with him, he was a veteran developer that worked on things such as Dead Space. He worked on the original Dead Space. He moved to Activision. He helped co-found Sledgehammer Games. And he left Activision after Call of Duty World War II shipped. And today, in a new announcement, well, not today. I'm reading off a news article. I apologize. A new announcement by Take-Two and 2K has seen Michael Condrey named president of a new Take-Two interactive studio. New studio is based in Silicon Valley, California, in the USA. The studio is yet to have an official name reveal and will join other studios under the 2K family, such as Fireaxis Games and Hangar 13. And President David Ismailer, President.
You had it right first time.
Of course I did. At 2K, we offer our collective audience a wide variety of engaging and captivating entertainment experiences. We continually seek opportunities to empower and invest in the right people and ideas. Michael's unparalleled creative production and leadership accolades are well documented and deserved. We're greatly inspired not only by his passion, but the potential for his new studio to complement our existing portfolio and development expertise. Now, early in 2018, Jason Schreier from Kotaku reported that a new BioShock game codenamed Parkside was in development at a new secret 2K studio. Seems like a logical conclusion that unnamed
It must be Fusion Frenzy 2.
No.
I knew that was coming. As soon as we had Anchor on this episode, I knew that was the conclusion he'd come to. So we could potentially see a next-gen BioShock.
Or cross-gen.
I would hope so.
Or keep this in mind. Think of next-gen. If I just feel like if they bring BioShock back and they have one of the creative minds behind Dead Space behind it. Whew.
Yeah, that's something I was talking about with a couple of other guys. Like, okay, I put this out with the disclaimer. I realize BioShock is very politically minded. I get that, and that is an important part of it, but we don't know what the setting, assuming that this is a BioShock game, and I do believe it is, we don't know what the setting will be. We don't know if they're going to somehow do Columbia. We don't know if they're going to go back to Rapture again. We don't know if it'll be something.
Not.
I don't think they would either.
Not.
I think they'll do something completely different. But nonetheless, the point being, since we don't know that, all we know is style and atmosphere and tone. In that case, I can't think of anyone more qualified than one of the creators of Dead Space.
And also keep in mind, too, Michael Condrey was a huge push behind Sledgehammer's World War II Zombies, which has been revered as one of the best zombie experiences of this generation. So with that in mind, I think he's a perfect fit if that's what they're doing.
Right.
I'll forever be sad that Ken Levine is not involved in the in the process, because BioShock Infinite was my favorite game of 2013. Yeah, 2013.
It came out right at the end.
Yeah, BioShock Infinite was one of the best games I ever played on Xbox 360. Nothing will touch that game for me in terms of last-gen games. It's one of, like, 3 franchises where me and my wife have a, like, violent love for it. Like when it comes to the franchises we love, it's like Fallout, BioShock, and there's something else, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But BioShock is just, if they can make a next-gen BioShock, I will be so happy.
Me too. And a lot of other fans too, because it really is such a fantastic game and a fantastic series that should have continued on but didn't. So hopefully with the next generation coming up, it'll have some sort of revival. And I really hope this next generation one is going to be over the top, just awesome. But knowing it has one of the original creators of Dead Space on board, yes, please.
If you ever want to see how absolutely stunning BioShock Infinite was, keep in mind it ran on PS3 and Xbox 360 and looked that good. I believe there's a video floating around the internet somewhere where someone upgraded the textures and everything else and ran it through a 2080 Ti with ray tracing. And the game is just, it's next level. BioShock Infinite was, I don't have words. And the plot twist at the end was just, I literally put down my controller and was like, what?
No, just as a question, did you play the DLC Burial at Sea?
I actually have not. That's on my list.
Dude! No. Stop everything. Go play the DLC this weekend. It's not that long. It is the emotional conclusion to the BioShock series. The fact you have not played it is a disservice and a gaming sin. I cannot urge this enough because I didn't play it because the DLC was coming out like right at the time when Next Gen was starting, and I was like, I don't have it. There's no backwards compatibility right now. I just don't have an option. Like, really, go and play it, Nick. You will cry. It's one of the very few games that has made me shed tears.
I can't here to feel.
The only other time, and I can't get specific because someone's playing What Remains of Edith Finch right now, right in front of me. I can't say specifics. The only other game that's ever made me cry has been What Remains of Edith Finch, in one particular part. But I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, the ending of Burial at Sea made me cry. It's the emotional end of the game. You need to play it.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll definitely pick that up because I actually have the BioShock collection. So
yeah, just start playing the DLC. Just pick it up right there. Go do that.
All right, I will definitely do that. It's not on our topic list, but we're going to talk about it.
Oh, no.
It's kind of a hot topic on Twitter right now.
I don't want to talk about Baldur's Gate anymore.
I said a hot topic on Twitter. The only person that's standing. Do you know how many Twitter posts I was tagged in when that announcement came? My mentions blew the hell up. They're like, "Hey!" I'm like, "I know."
Yeah, because you're like the only fan that's known on Twitter for being a fan of Baldur's Gate.
I remember, yeah, it's sweet. I was like, "What's my brand?" And people are like, "Baldur's Gate on sale." I'm like, "Damn it, that's a damn good brand." So Activision, after this weekend, apparently they're going to be doing mass layoffs.
Oh,
didn't they already do layoffs at Blizzard? So it's about time.
You really want to are you trying to get me angry?
So
it's like this is so stupid that they're doing this, and their new CFO. Let's give them a $10 million or $15 million whatever signing bonus, basically. But we're going to lay off hundreds of potential workers this year because we can't afford to pay them. Are you kidding me? How dumb is that? Like, just you guys go on. I don't want to get started. It's just
originally this came from Bloomberg, which is a financial and analysis website. It said Activision Blizzard Inc. plans to announce job cuts Tuesday in the face of slowing sales, according to people familiar with the matter, bringing fresh upheaval after spotty results roiled stocks this week. The shares dropped as much as 2.5% to $42.88 on Friday's layoffs, which could number in the hundreds. Activision employed 9,800 people at the end of 2017. The game maker, one of the largest in the world, acknowledged on November's conference call that some key titles such as Overwatch and Hearthstone were seeing flat or declining numbers of users. After disappointing sales of Destiny 2 Forsaken, the company parted ways with its developer Bungie Inc., a move that could reduce annual revenue in excess of $400 million. Analysts expect Activision sales to decline by roughly 2% to $7.28 billion. So, the takeaway from this is that
screw Activision.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how else can you really say it? Honestly, it's pretty brutal. Not gonna lie.
Look, I'm gonna be real. Like, I don't necessarily believe in headhunting like CEOs of company for money and everything else. I don't necessarily believe in that. But when you're saying that your company's financially struggling, and this is why you have to lay off hundreds of people, but then just in the prior weeks, you give a CFO a $15 million bonus after he's done nothing for the company yet. That's disgusting. Because he
hasn't lost the money yet. There you go. You thought about that? He didn't lose him any money yet.
Yet is the key word. It's only a matter of time when something happens.
The biggest thing that kills me with Activision and I know Mike Mullis is in the chat, and he'll probably remember this. When Activision was originally founded, it was about putting faces to game developers. That was their big thing. They released slews of adventure games with the developer's name in the title because Activision was founded around giving developers a voice. That was their big swing. That was how they became so huge. They were a major publisher, and they grew and they grew and they grew, but they're insanely out of touch with their base now. We'll even look at Overwatch as an example. They recycle content for that game every year. It's the same content every year, a couple of new skins, that's it. That's not a good way to pull people in.
Yeah.
Activision has no one else to blame but themselves in terms of Destiny underperforming. All these things are on their plate. Do developers play into that? Of course they do. But the thing that bugs me most about this is there's people that work for Blizzard, there's people that work for the Activision that have to go work on Monday. And they're not going to know if on Tuesday they have a job. And when the whole industry is booming the way it is, it's sad when these kind of things happen. Mm-hmm. And also Activision coming out and saying that they saw decreased sales in Overwatch and everything else because of Fortnite. As Matt Piscatella, who's from the NPD group, said, is that developers and publishers need to stop using Fortnite's success as a crutch for their own failings.
Maybe because the game's almost 3 years old. You figured that much out, and you haven't really dropped the price at all.
Well, you look at
on PC, sure, but like Xbox and PlayStation, they still keep it at $60 a regular price.
It goes
on sale sometimes, but not very often.
I wanted to play Overwatch on PlayStation with some friends. I went into my GameStop. That game is still full price. What the hell? And the thing is that there's other companies that are doing games as a service much better than Overwatch. We'll use Overwatch as an extending example. You look at a game like Rainbow Six Siege, which every season they add in a mass of operators, maps, gear, balancing changes, and everything else. Blizzard's lucky if they put out maybe 2 characters a year. Maybe. Like, give an example, Hi-Rez, which everyone knows for their crossplay tweet today. In Smite, they add a new character almost every month. Every month, they come out with a new character, balance it out, and then basically after 2 weeks of that character's launch, there's another character in the PTS servers for 2 weeks before it launches. That's the kind of dedication you have to your fan base. Activision putting in bare minimum effort going, oh, I don't know why people aren't buying this. It's stupid. And Activision deserves all the shit that people are going to dump on them over the next few weeks. Because you're telling me that you have to lay people off, even though Activision was bragging about how well Call of Duty did this year. But we're losing 2.5% of our income, so we need to cut hundreds of jobs.
Yeah, it's like, okay, something doesn't add up here. We have revenue to give our chief, financial officer here a bonus. We have the money to do all this. We can afford to let Bungie go and not get the Destiny 2 revenue, which was making them a ton of money. Even if it wasn't Call of Duty numbers, it was still numbers that many other developers would kill for. But now we have to slash hundreds of jobs across the beloved Activision Blizzard, among other changes that have been reported there. It doesn't make any sense. I know we don't have access to their numbers, but it just doesn't make sense. And honestly, guys, I'm very concerned. I'm extremely concerned. I'm extremely sad because Activision Blizzard has been one of the oldest, most important developers, at least on the PC side of things, in the gaming industry for a very long period of time. It's like they're a piece of gaming history, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing happening right now.
Blizzard Entertainment is an American video game developer and publisher based in Irvine, California, a subsidiary of the American company Activision Blizzard. Activision Blizzard, as of 2012, had 4,700 employees. The company was originally founded on February 8th, 1991. So you're talking about a development studio that's basically been around for almost 30 years. And they are getting gutted after absolutely... It blows my mind. I don't understand. When you've got companies that are literally like... You've got hardware like developers like Sony and Microsoft literally dumping millions in investments right now into stuff, and Activision's like, oh, we're not making enough money to do that. Well, how fat is your bottom line, and how fat do you have to keep it? That becomes the question. Like, if you lose 2.5% of your business, that should not equal hundreds of layoffs. Do you thin down on contractors? Yeah. But you don't let go full-time staff. And keep in mind, too, last month, I'm pretty sure Sam wrote the article, Blizzard was buying out employee contracts to get rid of people.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Blizzard knew before it was going to go down. Maybe they were like, hey, maybe instead of doing layoffs here, let's pay out their contracts so they at least get paid.
And the absolute worst part of this is Blizzard literally has or Activision has an absolute gold mine with Overwatch League. And they just don't know what to do with it. They're borderline fucking incompetent. Because when you've got Overwatch League and you've got all these issues that are happening with Overwatch League right now, then you look at League of Legends, which has literally founded a players union to keep players who aren't on teams getting paid. And they're looking after both their viewers and their player base. It kind of makes you go, like, how hard is this to care?
Yeah.
Corporate greed is a hell of a drug, man.
I think it's a little bit different. I think, at least with Overwatch, they're trying to treat it like an actual sport. And unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of different things that occur that make it a little bit different. But anyway, that's another discussion for a different podcast, honestly. But yeah, I don't know. Activision is a total mess. If Blizzard were gone, they would have gone out of business 10 years ago. Like, it just, like, my biggest question, and this is, you can probably mark the fall of Activision, same point. When was the last time Activision made a game that wasn't a big franchise? Like Call of Duty or Destiny. When was the last time? They don't. The first time they're going to do so in a while is Sekiro, and they didn't even make the game.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose we could technically make an argument for the Crash and Spyro remasters.
Publishing, once again, not developing.
Mm-hmm, right.
Yeah. Like, it's just dumb. They've lost all their creative spark. Everyone's moved on to other projects. I disregard them now. It's not worth it.
It's a shame. It really, really is a shame because I love Blizzard. I do, but Activision over them is a problem.
Yeah,
especially
I totally agree.
Especially as we see, like you said, Nick, all these other companies, especially like Microsoft, doubling down on developers, doubling down on their teams as we head into next gen. But
well, it's not like we had an issue with Blizzard before they were part of Activision. Look what they came out with. StarCraft, Warcraft, for freak's sakes, World of Warcraft. Look what they created before they were really in Activision's hands. Like, those three franchises alone are staples in the gaming industry and kind of defined a lot of genres itself, especially the RTS genre. So, to see how Activision has handled Blizzard, it's horrific.
Well, the thing is think back to it. Just think back to what you've played, because I know a lot of you guys aren't like heavy PC players. When was the last time Blizzard made a bad game?
That's the other thing. They don't really make a bad game. It's just the way that Activision has handled them.
Diablo 3 came out in 2012, and they supported the hell out of it. Hearthstone was like what I remember as being the first mobile game that blew up. World of Warcraft's always been massive. StarCraft is huge, especially in Asia. Absolutely massive. And, like, it's just hard to see how It's hard to see how they're struggling this much when they have a studio that literally shits gold. And that's the only way I can put it. And like their whole thing of like slimming down on employees and everything else doesn't make any sense because Ubisoft lost money this year. And Ubisoft employs more people than Activision. Ubisoft worldwide has 13,000 employees worldwide. That's not including contractors and everything else. And their net income was, why is it in pounds? That doesn't help. But regardless, like, yeah, some of the big publishers are struggling right now. And I think part of that reason is because people are getting disenfranchised by big developers just recycling games repeatedly. Mm-hmm. And, like, that plays a huge part into it. Like, Overwatch single-handedly made team shooters cool again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the best team shooter since Team Fortress 2.
It's so good. Like,
but the problem is that they haven't really done anything. Like, yeah, they've had some characters and some stuff like that, but like, I don't know. They could be doing more.
See, one thing you mentioned earlier, you said they add like maybe 2 characters a year. Now they add at least 2 characters a year. We're almost on character 30, dude. Like, like there was the game launched, it was like 21 characters initially. The game has been out for almost 3 years, so I mean they've been putting out characters. But the thing is too, if you keep pushing out more and more characters, you have to worry about balancing because you got the esports scene. If you keep adding more, it keeps changing the meta too quickly, and people can't react to it. And if you have the meta keep changing consistently during the league play, it messes everything up.
So, well, you can argue that, but almost every other competitive game does that. Look how many champions are in League of Legends. Like, every game has a meta shift. Like, the Smite meta changes almost every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But players adapt to that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like, some games you do like a season, like with Rainbow Six Siege, you do a season, and you keep with one meta through that season. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But, like, there's straight up, they've added characters in Overwatch and changed the meta, so the character they added is useless. An example.
Yeah, it normally does like when they add the characters, like, people don't know how to react to it, and then afterwards, when they add it, they do an overcorrection on them.
Like, you look at Hammond. He wasn't good when he launched, then they buffed him, and then he was stupid. And then they kind of found a good place for him, which every game struggles with. I'll never blame developers for having a hard time balancing, because you'll think about it, if we're adding this new character and we have 30 characters, how is this specific character going to interact with this character, this character, this character, this character? If you combine it with this hero, what's the effect? Balancing a game is hard. And I get that, but there's just no excuse for what's going on, honestly. And
see, you know what I think it is? I think the reason why the thing with Blizzard is happening is because Blizzard did not monetize the way that Activision would have monetized. Because if Activision monetized Overwatch as opposed to Blizzard, yeah, we know they're the same entity, but I feel like they had some creative control over it, and the loot box thing was a happy medium. But if Activision were allowing you to, you could buy those coins directly. And there would be more aspects to it. But like they would say, like, oh, you could buy the loot boxes and they're cheaper than the coins, so you could get random stuff for it. Or you could buy the coins directly and pay $20 for one skin.
And you know what? A lot of games do that, and I don't have a problem with it. I'd actually rather buy the skin for $10 than waste loot box rolls. But that's just me.
It is just you. But you also like Baldur's Gate, so I mean, like, how can we trust your opinion?
I can't even with you guys. Just
You should always let people, in my opinion, have a chance for buying something directly, especially with government interference coming down over everyone's necks right now. Or at the very least, you need to disclose the chances for winning something, like Apex Legends has done.
Yeah.
That's the balance.
The thing is that, and it kills me, and Jez Corden said this on Twitter too. If you grew up on PC gaming in the 90s, Blizzard is like that's the golden goose for PC games. And just watching them get dismantled like this, it hurts. This is like how Mass Effect fans feel looking at Anthem. And like, Anthem is probably going to be a really good game. But there's always going to be that core audience that goes, man, if we could get another Mass Effect, or if we could get another Jade Empire, or if we could, those what ifs.
frauds.
Sir. Shush.
Anthem is the gospel. That's all you will ever need.
Yeah, I'm putting
except for Division 2.
I'm putting it out right now. The Anthem is getting nothing at the Game Awards. Absolutely zip.
You shut your mouth, good sir.
Actually, I think he may have a point.
Tone.
No, because only because of strict politics.
Grr.
They may not give it because of politics.
Grr. I will not believe it.
No, because I honestly believe when the Division 2 launches, people are going to go, what is Anthem? Because
I hope not, honestly. I hope not.
Anthem, I give BioWare credit because they are trying something completely new to them.
Yeah.
So there's going to be growing pains to that.
Why can't you have the faith in them like people did for Horizon Zero Dawn? They're trying something new.
Horizon Zero Dawn was terrible. Just keep
well,
making
like, here's my argument. Like,
I'm so proud.
Thing. Here's my argument. What has really BioWare done to turn off the fan base other than a mediocre ending to Mass Effect 3? What have they done?
Sir,
what have they done?
Jared.
Come on. To me, they've been fantastic. They've been consistent.
No,
Nick.
Jared. Mass Effect Andromeda is a absolute disgusting display of why you should.
That bad. It really was.
Jared, did you play it at launch? No, Nick,
I did.
Nick.
I did.
Dude, it crashed on me 8 times in the span of 10 hours. That's unacceptable.
I've never really had major issues with that game. That's the thing. Like, I've actually never had any issues with Mass Effect Andromeda. I've had a pretty consistent, overall, decent experience with it, even though it was on launch too.
Experience. I'm just talking about those facial animations. Whoever did that.
No, I'm not talking about. Hold on, Nick. Hold on. I'm not talking about the facial animations. Like, Jared, I liked Mass Effect Andromeda. You're talking to one of that game's defenders, but the reality is it was in an unacceptable state at launch. And here's the problem with Anthem. We're seeing the same thing over now. Everyone who was in the alpha kept on going on about, guys, you will believe when you see it. I'm seeing it, and technically it wasn't where it needed to be. And I don't know, maybe the alpha was better than the beta, the demo that we got, but the reality is that's not a good look going in. I hope they deliver on the Anthem.
The VIP demo was not. Well, I'll be honest, the VIP demo was not definitely not the way we should have handled it.
I'm going to quote Drunk Cat off Twitter. Is Anthem fans got to experience what a true beta feels like when they played the Division 2 when you can log in and just play the game.
I have to say this, Sam. My retort would have been, your mother's in an unacceptable state, but Pamela is a treasure, and I can't say that in good conscience. So
exactly, you can't.
I just want to say, as a general Twitter rule of thumb, Sam's whole family is a national treasure, and we must defend them.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Agreed.
Because your mom sometimes she replies to me 1 or 2 times a month, and it's always the nicest thing. And we're not even going to go on about Narfi. Sponsored by Corn Nuts.
Oh god.
So instead of dunking on Anthem, we're going to switch over to the Battle Royale.
Dicks.
So I was listening to an episode of Sacred Symbols, and one of the points they brought up was that the Battle Royale genre is splitting the same player base. It's just people migrating from game to game, and they're not actually gaining new players. It's just people switching different Battle Royale games to what's popular, and the genre isn't actually growing.
The data proves that's not the case.
Yes, exactly. Like, there's no way, because if that was the case, the 10 million players that they got on Apex, every other Battle Royale game would be empty. Like, you wouldn't be able to find a Fortnite game, a PUBG game, Blackout game. This is a genre that's growing. But I've got to ask you guys, what do you think the top out is for the Battle Royale genre? Do you think we've hit peak with Apex? Do you think
no? Oh,
1 billion players.
Maniacal laughter ensues.
I think it's such a difficult thing to determine because there are so many studios out there that could come out with their own individualistic idea of how a battle royale should work. And there could be, maybe that one specific game. Like recently we saw Fortnite this past year or so completely blow up substantially, like far beyond what we could ever even think of. And now we kind of see Apex Legends happening on a faster pace than what Fortnite did. Now, is there going to be another game coming out later this year or next year or the year after that that's going to be more of a substantial release and faster attachment rate than what Apex Legends is? Who knows? So I don't think we've hit peak just yet, but I think we're getting close. Though the refinement process, I think, is going to take a few years yet before we really see something that's going to be pinnacle battle royale game enjoyment.
I think we're going to see shakeups from smaller studios trying things, and then big studios will copy this.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Because
there's a gentleman I follow on Twitter whose name's Dave Oshry. He made the awesome PC game Dusk. And he was kind of throwing ideas at a wall for a Battle Royale game. And people made fun of him for it, but he said, what I want to do is, he's like, I want standard small map loadout, COD style, TDM, but I want a giant map, closing ring, running around for upgradable loot, everything else Battle Royale has. Except you can respawn on death, the match is timed, and the winner is decided by kills, not last team standing.
There you go. See, that would be good because that would focus everybody to engage with each other, not, sit around and wait for the timer to run out and make sure you live to the circle. It's first you to engage and make sure you get the kills that you need, because it's either you live or you die sort of thing. You either get a really kick-ass score or you don't. So
and he also added too, this would encourage everyone on the map to go looking for a fight instead of cat and mouse battle royale style. So like you can also do domination, where you fight to hold the respawn drop ship points. Make matches 10 to 15 minutes long and first to 100 kills.
Ooh, that'd be really interesting.
Like, this is just a developer throwing ideas at a wall on Twitter.
See, that's the big thing too, is I don't think the battle royale genre is fairly stale in that it's the same setup with every single one. It's always the ring. It's always let's jump out of an airplane or something like that. And it's like, can we have something a little different? Like just something. Like, I like the idea of having respawns, because that actually, if you had that as just like a separate mode within Battle Royale, I think that would be fine. Because like that's the big problem I think people are having with Apex, is like they're trying to get used to playing the game, but you die, and it's like, oh, I just want to go around and shoot some stuff and get used to it. Yeah.
Like the amount of PUBG games where I'll get like 12, 13 kills, and the guy who kills me in the final 2 has 1 kill, and it's me. He literally held his dick and laid down in a house for half an hour.
Patience is a virtue, Nick.
I'm
and
sorry,
that's the final battle.
Edgar feels attacked by this. No, I just think the Battle Royale genre can go a lot farther. I think Apex introducing like skill-based characters, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And credit to them with Apex Legends and how balanced those characters interact with each other. I've never seen a character-based shooter launch where it went, oh, this is actually pretty good. And I don't know, it's just amazing to me that they just launched this in like 3 days, hit the numbers they did, and have been managed to keep it together. Like anyone that bought PUBG day one on PC, that game was rough.
Yeah.
Fortnite Battle Royale, that was rough for the first couple of weeks. Blackout, we're not even going to talk about that. The time to kill on Blackout is literally made for 9-year-olds on Red Bull.
I disagree with that. The problem with Blackout is that it's just inconsistent across the entire game. Like when you're playing zombies, it's variable based on what wave you're on to kill. And they're talking about time to kill. When you're playing multiplayer, it's a set amount and you understand what it is. But you'll be playing Blackout and you have the whole armor thing. You're like, you can unload a clip into someone's head and won't kill them. Like if they have the highest armor, they're good. They're sold. Like they won't die unless it has to be ridiculously stupid or they let you kill them.
Yeah,
like that's the problem with that one. It's inconsistent. Now if Blackout was the only game mode in Black Ops 4, that'd be different. Like I don't think it would be an issue. It's inconsistent across the rest of the game what time to kill is.
And I don't think Blackout's been necessarily hugely successful either.
I mean, it's same levels of success as Call of Duty.
Well, I mean, in terms of success, I mean, Blackout doesn't hold the mind share that PUBG and Fortnite does. Like,
not really, yeah.
Like, it's no one's saying they're going to go drop $60 on Call of Duty for the Battle Royale.
You know, I think that's the only reason why I think it's not probably as popular as what PUBG or Fortnite is, because PUBG is half the price, and then Fortnite is free to play, right? So you don't want to. No one wants to pay a full price game for a $20 game mode. That what Blackout is, and what should have been sold separately as a $20 addition to the full game. I think.
I don't know. They've done very little with it. I haven't seen them do any like major events with it, really.
Nothing at all.
And it's typical COD support. They're going to release map packs, and that's all you get.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing for me that turned me off of Blackout was I remember getting the beta, and I was just literally running up on guys and sliding and shotgunning them, and it worked.
That is half the close quarters combat. Not gonna lie, I've played a good amount, so you know.
The problem with Call of Duty, and I'll always say this as someone who played Call of Duty tournaments, the skill ceiling on Call of Duty is very low.
Yeah.
Once you have map knowledge, that's 98% of the game.
I'll be honest. Apex Legends is lower. It's way easier to get it. For me, it was way easier to get a kill in my first match playing Apex Legends this morning than it's ever been in any other Battle Royale game. Like, the way, if I can get eyes on another enemy, it's extremely easy to unload on them from a distance, even with a machine gun pistol, for example, and get them to be downed and their, teammates run around figuring out exactly what to do, sort of thing. It's extremely easy in my eyes to get someone else down.
Yeah, the thing is with Battle Royale games, you want to have the challenge of multiplayer games as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have an easy entry point, but a high skill ceiling.
Yes.
And that's something Counter-Strike is terrible for. Because the entry skill level, everyone expects you to be a god as soon as you start, even if you're bronze.
But you know what? Overwatch is actually really good for that one too, because it's really good to get into, but also is complex enough with the meta of the game.
Yeah.
To where it could be esports sort of thing where it still has a high skill level.
You're not going to pick up Overwatch, and you're not going to pick up Tracer right off the bat and be good with her.
No, definitely not.
And there's like high skill ceilings with all these characters, and I'm really good as a DPS in Overwatch, but I tried to play. What was it? One Sam always plays Brigitte.
Yeah, Brigitte. Thank you.
I always thought it was Bridget.
No, Sam's the only person who has the right to correct anybody. Only when it comes to Brigitte. That's it.
Bridget.
But I was terrible with her. Like I'm sitting there going, this is rough for me. Like like the skill ceiling on her is very decent. I think some battle royale games are a lot easier to get into. I think Fortnite has a decent skill ceiling in the aspect of the gunplay is really easy to pick up and learn, but the building is the skill ceiling. But I don't know. It's just with battle royale games, they all kind of feel kind of samey to me. Like, it took me a while to get good at PUBG, but once I was good at PUBG, I've been good at Apex Legends. I've been good at Blackout. I was good at.
See, that's where I disagree. I haven't played Fortnite, and I don't intend to, but Apex Legends is much more fast-paced.
Sam, you know that's a lie. I know you've played Fortnite.
Not Battle Royale. Not Fortnite Battle Royale.
Clarify that, sir.
I have not played Fortnite Battle Royale, and I will not. Okay.
I will say Apex Legends is definitely faster than Fortnite Battle Royale. It's not faster than Blackout, but it's definitely faster than PUBG.
Yeah, and so for me, PUBG, the thing that has kept me coming back to PUBG for a long period of time is those long stretches of time. The waiting and waiting in between encounters, and then it finally builds towards the hecticness towards the end. Now, obviously, Apex Legends is a lot more fast-paced, but I will say that unlike Fortnite Battle Royale or Black Ops 4, Apex Legends has actually pulled me away from PUBG. So.
There you go. And I actually will co-sign with what you said, though. The amount of time that you spend in PUBG in length of, traveling from place to place and not in combat, but potentially wondering when you're going to be in combat, that tense atmosphere that it creates is something that none of the other games have really recreated just yet. Blackout a little bit, but it was still more of a fast-paced kind of twitch shooter arcade kind of game, because once you see an enemy, you kind of instantly engage. With PUBG, it's more tactical because there's, I think, a little bit more things to consider about physics-wise and gameplay than there is with Call of Duty or much of the other games, because they're more arcade style, where PUBG, you have a lot more of the actual real-life physics to consider. So.
Yeah. I don't know. With PUBG, there's different ways you can approach the game, and that's what I love about it. It depends on how you play. Like, how I play solos isn't how I play duos, isn't how I play squads.
Yes. Yeah,
like,
it's definitely different.
When I play solo, I'm aggressive as heck. Because when it comes to one-on-ones, I can win 90% of my one-on-ones.
Because people in solo are just like, they're so panicky. They play very conservatively because it's only them. They're not used to people coming at them. Yeah.
And that's the great thing about solo plays, that you can just run up on a guy 9 times out of 10. He's going to lose his mind because he doesn't expect someone to run at him.
Yeah, that's true. It's very, very true. And they'll react. They'll overreact. Yep. And you can actually have a better advantage when they do that, because they usually use something that they're reserving for later in the game, and they use it right away because they don't expect something to happen so quickly. So for an enemy to run up on them so quickly and be like, oh crap, I need to quickly do something to eliminate this enemy as fast as possible. So we can use something that I've been saving for in the end to make sure I'm going to get that win, sort of thing. So use it right away, and you go, ha, sucker. You used it, now you're dead, and then you shoot them and they're dead and you win.
My favorite thing about PUBG when it came out was PUBG came out, people got good at that. The Fortnite Battle Royale came out. You could tell all the Fortnite people that came over to PUBG because you'd zoom in on them with the sniper scope and they'd be bouncing.
Yeah, they'd be bunny hopping.
I'm sitting there like, what are you doing? This actually, like, this is easy to hit you.
Yeah, you go, stop. Like, actually, don't stop. Keep going.
I can't lie. I bunny hop in PUBG too.
I do it in Blackout.
It
works. It works in Blackout. Okay.
Halo 3 has made me bunny hop for like the rest of my life. Any multiplayer game.
Yeah.
Black Ops 2 made me dolphin dive every time, and any game that doesn't have the dolphin dive has been disappointing.
Yeah, I know. I'll be honest, I use it all the time in Battlefield 5, and it saves my butt way too often.
Well, Ivan can relate to this because he plays Torbjorn in Overwatch.
Yeah. Oh.
Literally 90% of his play of the games is people aren't looking low enough to hit.
Now, I will say, Torbjorn does require skill
Oh no,
just
that,
mad.
with Torbjorn's rework, it actually has he has a higher skill ceiling than he used to.
Damn.
Yeah.
Because
you can't just rely on the turret.
You can't rely on the turret, and also the fact of the alt actually takes some like timing and decision making.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I've played with you, and I see how you play Torbjorn, and then I get random Torbjorns, and I want to smash my face off my desk. Because they're putting the turret like in the center of the objective point. I'm like, oh yeah, no one's gonna see that there.
See, that's the big mistake. If you're playing Torbjorn, you can't use the turret as your focal point like you used to. Like the way you used to play Torbjorn before, when he was purely a defensive character, was you would put your turret at a main choke point, and you would buff up your turret, and you were just kind of playing support to the turret. That's it. Now, this time, you are the main focus point, and you're putting your turret in like an Overwatch position, and you're trying to use it to cut off flank routes and such, whereas maybe one or two people are going that direction. You're not trying to put it in the center choke point. And you use yourself as the focus point because you can buff up yourself with overdrive. But that's Torbjorn meta for you. So different time.
Yeah. I think we're pretty much going to wrap up here. You guys have any closing thoughts? Battle Royale games?
People who think that one game is necessarily destroying the other, as Matt Piscatella pointed out, is a incorrect, foolish assumption. Games aren't failing because of Fortnite. They're not going to start failing because of Apex Legends. The data doesn't back that up. So you can't blame a game's failure on there being a big Battle Royale free-to-play. There's something else going on. You have to consider that there are other things at work.
Well, I mean, there is one game that's destroying all the other Battle Royale games. It's the true Battle Royale game. Fallout 76. It's so difficult. You have to waste entire rounds of like magazines of ammo just to kill one person, and even then they can heal up immediately.
Oh my!
And they can respawn.
See,
so killing everyone is impossible.
I want Fallout 76 to have a Battle Royale mode where you get care packages that are in vinyl bags.
Oh wow!
And when you open it up, it's like, this is advertised, and it disappears in a cloud of smoke.
Hey, can't expect that with the Anthem one. Just saying.
I can't wait till this game comes out, so either you or me can shut up about it.
No kidding, right?
Because I'm at the point where I'm tired of ragging on you about it, but I'm fully committed to the act now.
And I'm fully committed to the act of, prancing around and strutting my stuff when knowing that the game's going to be as awesome as I say it is. It's going to happen. And I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna rub it in a little bit, and I'm gonna enjoy it. Not gonna lie, but then I'll stop, and then I'll probably bring it up again a little bit later on. And
the only thing I'm banking on EA servers. That's the only.
Now, EA servers are a mixed bag on that because at first, yes, they suck, but after the first week, it's good to go.
Fine. Yeah, they're usually pretty fine.
Sir, did you play Battlefield 4 first week?
Yes. Sir, did you know they had 2 demo sessions to make sure the servers were at capacity and capability? Sir.
Oh yeah, and everyone enjoyed those 6-hour loading screens too.
I waited 24 hours to play the game.
All right. Say what you will about this or that, but here's the thing, dude. Apex Legends has had very few issues, despite its massive player base right now.
Seamless. It's been very impressive for a random surprise launch of a free-to-play game title, and the only issue they have is server capacity because of how fast it's growing. That speaks volumes.
Yeah. That speaks volumes for Respawn, not EA. I'm sorry.
Dude, they're using EA's.
I don't care.
You can't say that DICE is using EA servers, but Respawn isn't. That makes no sense.
I don't care in the simple fact of Apex Legends is literally the first EA game in years that worked right out the gate.
If Apex Legends can do it, Anthem can do it as well and launch their server capability.
BioWare has near enough knowledge of netcode that the guys at Respawn do.
Probably not for online services. Not gonna lie, and I won't disagree. Oh, excuse me on
That's
that
my
one.
only, like, literally my only concern going into Anthem is netcode. Because BioWare does not have a lot of experience with it. Whereas Respawn, you know, they made the Modern Warfare games and then they made Titanfall 1 and 2. That's kind of the only thing they do.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. It's just multiplayer.
But I really hope it does really well because I want to see what else BioWare has in the pocket. If Anthem has to succeed for me to get another BioWare RPG, so be it.
We already got Dragon Age 4 coming.
Yeah, I wouldn't count your chickens before the hatch.
What? They already teased it. They already announced it. Come on now.
Dude, they announced it, but that game
That's
ain't happening for a long time.
I'm gonna hold them to their word.
Well,
it's
say when
more-
it was coming.
I'll drive over to Vancouver. I'll do it.
So we're gonna wrap up the show here. We'll do outros. Sam, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Samuel Tolbert. That's Tolbert, and you can find everything I write on tickgamesnetwork.com.
Right on. Jared, where can people find you?
You can also find me on Twitter at RageVirus_X as well at tickgamesnetwork.com.
Right on. And Anchorman, where can people find you?
I want to eventually say the last thing before we wrap up that portion. In the immortal words of Torbjorn,
Oh no!
it's not by the pig while it's still in the bag.
Oh no!
You guys can find me at Anchorman V2 on Twitter, Instagram, Xbox, PlayStation. If you really want my Switch Social Security number, you can hit me up there. Hit me up on Twitter and we'll talk. But anyway, guys, thanks for letting me on the show.
Yeah, no worries.
Absolutely, dude.
Enjoying
Absolutely.
having you on, man.
Always great having Multiverse Bud on.
Definitely.
I just got Wrangle Mike in here, so me and him can vehemently disagree on every single video game topic.
While me and Sam just sit back with popcorn and enjoy the show.
No, I'm fighting you. Too. We're building this.
No. We're not getting dragged into this.
So there's going to be a live stream on February 13th on this channel around 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be a Q&A. I can't say what it's about. I won't be able to tell you guys till the 13th.
Oh, man.
But there will be a Q&A session.
Yeah, I mean, we can't say what it is, guys, but use your imagination. You're not going to want to miss
It's
this.
the gender reveal for his third child.
Exactly. Exactly. That is the content people crave. Not relevant video game news for games coming out.
Only Nick's personal life.
Exactly.
No,
boy.
no. Please no. Third child? No. I'll hang myself before that happens. So I'm Nicholas Down. You can find me on Twitter at Undead3XVI. You can, of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel to see all our podcasts and videos. And there's going to be some branch out content coming up. Like I said, on the 13th and 14th, I'm going to be whacking you guys over the head with a sock of Legos of original content. So stay tuned for that. I can't, like I said, can't tell what it is, but use your imagination. It'll be a good time. And of course, if you want to have your questions answered in that, I will be posting on Twitter on the 13th when the NDA releases. So you guys can get your questions answered on the air. So please stay tuned for that. We will catch you guys next Saturday on the Gaming Perspective podcast, the most consistent podcast on a Saturday.